Hello and welcome. It is the second day of October 2019. Quick update on the silver and gold markets, with the silver market up modestly. We'll say, well, for now, I guess modestly 2.59%. And in time, I think that will be a modest move, but volatility most certainly is and has been for a while at a higher level than what we've seen. I guess there was no resistance at 1740, but I woke up to it this morning when we look at multiple time frames. On the 3 hour chart, price action after coming out and not getting up to the 1740, we can see here that it just, well, broke out above it. And now I'm looking if it's going to come down. That's the keyword on the if, that the area with the 18 average of lows in the 1740 area to be that of support, and the next target level for this time frame to be in that of 1823 on the single hour term. Ever since lifting off at 8 o'clock, leaving the 18 average band, and just hasn't stopped yet. 15-minute chart, we'll see in here at 8:15. Yeah, that's where the resistance came in, because that's what I seen this morning. That's the first time I looked at the chart. It was here and it was down already. So it was like, oh, okay, we'll see. Now I'm just looking now. I'm like, whoa, my goodness, silver's up 2.5. We did support off of the 1740 handle on the short term. Again, lifting higher from there. Daily term, it's a possibility of the failed breakdown in here, which would be this level of key support that was tested on September the 13th area. And we'll just take a look again, say at the 3 hour for evidence of that. Yeah, because if this was going to break down, this is the area where we're supposed to resist and go down. So it should have stopped going up around 1750. So to me, this is showing that, well, it looks like to me as if it's a failed breakdown that's forming. And usually on a failed move, a fast move in the opposite direction happens, which is higher from down. So I wouldn't be surprised if it breaks nicely above 18, closer to 18 and a quarter today, tomorrow, basically by the end of the week. But I'd be expecting it either today or it's 141. I'd be expecting it tomorrow, Thursday. And on the 8 hour, it's above that. I was surprised this thing actually went down as it did. I was expecting in here a breakout to occur after all of this was taking place. And of course, that did not happen. So then, if it hits this resistance, it's still going to lower high this high if that's where it tops. But in a situation, given how the market has been running as it has been, when these things go, you never know uh, where this comes into play. Now, one of the topics I want to talk about is how many millionaires are on this planet. And I define a millionaire as someone who can spend $1 million easy and still not be in debt. Or technically, their assets be higher than their debts, meaning liquid assets, cash, gold, silver, anything else that's easily sellable for cash, minus all accounts payable. If it's at least a million US, you're a millionaire. Okay, well, we'll get to them in a bit. Now we got to talk about the 100 millionaire to billionaire people. Those people don't really buy silver. I mean, it's just too bulky, too much. This doesn't make much sense. They're buying gold. So let's step back to where the original topic came in. I'm going to switch this time frame to the long term because that's where I'm planning on going. I'm done with short-term silver analyses. So we'll stick up the weekly in here. Nice little weekly chart too, as it came in close to the 18 average of closes, and in bullish candles, we're looking at it now. And if this thing does happen to go up, this could be a wild move. But again, the millionaires. What percentage of them have an adequate amount of gold and or silver? I would have to think that number is very, very low, which is really, I mean, I think like you got that kind of cash and you're not protecting yourself against the fiat currency explosion. And then on the other side, they're saying, what do you mean by fiat? What do you mean by explosion? Like, what do you mean? You're just talking crazy stuff. And that's what a lot of them will say. And then there'll be people that have thought about dollar crises and just don't believe it. And don't think it's going to happen, thinking they're wasting their time on gold and silver. And when the real panic and real situations come in, it won't take long for the millionaires to buy up the silver supplies. And that's just my opinion. But I think it's a strong one when I look at the situation. Even when you consider the masses of everyday people who have decent incomes 60, 80, 120, 150 a year, not quite millionaires. Well, a lot of them are going to be looking more towards, I think, silver over that of gold. But again, time will only tell. And then people watching these videos of the like and Mike Maloney's and so many others. Obviously, if they've already watched it, they're probably into it. But this goes on with one of my theories that those who wake up to the understanding of fiat currency, well, they're not gonna unwake up to it. And each day, more and more people wake up, which would be higher than the amount of those who have woken up that will pass on, basically. So the increase in the amount of people understanding the situation increases on a day-by-day level. Again, another one of my beliefs, which I think is a pretty simple one. So as it goes on the 18 average with the monthly term time frame, 18 average barely starting to rise. And I don't care much about volume in here right now. It just gets in the way. So we get above the 18 in here, a little bit of a pause, moving still in this situation. 18 average of highs, and I can still see the numbers on the left. 15 and a quarter on the low, 16 and a half on the high. And there's no need that it has to come back down. But if it just goes up, it's like I look at it as like, well, it's close to coming back to it. The whole point of it is having a nice move and a correctionary move back, and well, that's basically what we've been having over the last week or so within the market, as it's been, of course, trending down the last couple of weeks maybe on this move in here. But again, that doesn't mean this move is over short term. I guess if you see price action, if it gets up to the 18 average of highs at 18, if you see it falling below 17.45, that's weak. As it is now, if it starts to fall below like 17.13, that's weak. And then definitely breaking below 16.88, that's weak. But that's for another leg lower. Again, I'm done with the short term. I still got the ratio and gold to go over, but that will be quick on both of them. And then the inverted head and shoulders pattern people like to see. There's point A low, point B high, point C correction, and point B high. I'm saying B again because it's the same high as it was here. Now we're on point D correction. Breaking above here gives us point E high, I guess. Whatever. But that's the whole situation of this. Come to this level, back, and the amount of correctionary move based on price and time and everything is just insane. But this has been able to get the opportunity for people to buy silver at cheap prices. For myself, I was waking up to what a fiat currency was back in here at the end of 2007. So it was at the start, it was like $20. Then it was a bit of a discount, and then the $20 days ended as October of 2010 came in. But it came back to $20 again in 2013, and it's been under it ever since. Moving on to gold. And it doesn't have that cup and handle. It just has point A low, point B high, point C correction, and I guess point D high. Maybe. I mean, point D high might be higher. I mean, highs and lows are known after the fact. Is this much of a correction? It kind of is, but not really, and only a little bit through time and price for the long-term time frame. But regardless of how you look at it, in a situation, whether you deem it a correction or not, the pattern either way on a break of this resistance can only be massive, I would think. And when we look at it on the monthly chart from this low, we can see it really didn't go down too much compared to where it came from. But that doesn't have to be the case. And as we can see in here, after the bottom, attempt to get above it in 2016, no. And then in here, no. I don't know how long I've had these lines in, but it's been a while. They've been calculatable since 2016 because it's high divided by low to the roots of the exponent. 38.2% resisted 2-3 times, then taken it. Now we're resisting the 61.8 for the first time. It hasn't resisted much. It hasn't corrected much. Again, it doesn't have to. If it has a big correction, I'm looking back down to 1321. If it doesn't, I'm looking for short-term resistance. Only short-term resistance at the 1670 mark. I'm looking for long-term resistance and only a little bit of that at the previous high around 1900. On the daily chart, again, same thing on the failed breakdown. There's a key support level at 1485. It gets below. And now back into the congestion area where it came from. So the early signs of a failed breakout is in play. Oftentimes a fast move higher. And I'm looking for a break above the 18 average of highs and really even above 1550 for a fast move. Because a move to 1550 doesn't, I'll be saying, no, there wasn't a fast move. A fast move is one leg higher than this, basically. Whether it's fast, I think concise move is a better word. It's just oftentimes concise moves are fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles. But when you look at gold on, well, I'm just going to say gold's the chart to look at for a concise move that really wasn't fast because, I mean, this was slow to go up there, but it was concise. Now we'll finish it off with the gold to silver ratio, which comes to a very critical situation in here. As we have the key high low, point B high, key low, key high, key low. Highs and lows are known after the fact. So as far as this wave is concerned, yes, on a shorter term, this high is higher than this, which is progression for the grander term time frames, but we're still concisively lower than this high in here, which makes this correctionary move that this is attempting to be very, very big. The 18 average of lows comes in at around 83 and 2/3. If that level fails and you see weakness amongst it breaking down, then don't be surprised if this thing has a very concise break below 79 and 1/3 and a big leg lower, especially with what the last two look like. Who knows how wild it might get because of the volatility intake it's been having. Regardless of whether it bottoms in here, or if it does happen to go down and make a higher low to this one in wherever spot, whenever it's able to get above this level of resistance, then now we can start talking about getting within this high in a interesting now what situation, and thus, okay, I guess this downtrend was a failure. We type of talk would be going on. But for now, until then, I'll just keep an eye on it because it's a pretty. It could take a while for that to play itself out, but I'll be keeping an eye on it. And we'll finish it off with the Bitcoin and gold ratio. And whichever's on the right-hand side does good when it goes down. Whichever is on the left-hand side is bullish when it goes up. So the fact that this has been going down means gold has been overperforming Bitcoin since these July highs. At that time, you were able to, well, it costed you to buy an ounce of, or one Bitcoin, it costed you 10 ounces of gold. Now it only costs you 5.5 ounces of gold to buy one Bitcoin. These prices, of course, very volatile, and it's been Bitcoin in an up run. Now, in a situation of currency failures, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is a wild card. Probably good percentage chances of doing well, at least on the first early runs of panic times. And most likely would be very highly more volatile. There's also ways of turning cryptocurrencies into precious metals, at least in North America. Probably in other countries as well, but definitely in the US and Canada. And in doing such, if you're trying to accumulate gold and or silver and you're trying to play some games, try to invest your way into it, try to increase your portfolio to large numbers, well, putting funds into cryptocurrencies, trading them and finding ideal spots to trade the markets, well, that can be ideal situations because just in this run, when you see it go from a half up to 15 down to 2 and up to 9, then it can work out very, very well. Because anyone who started back in here and held Bitcoin, and even more so if they traded altcoins back and forth, could have cashed in, and myself included, pretty well. And then if you sold up here, you could have bought it back in here if you wished. And then you could have got situations where, okay, I bought this amount of Bitcoin and I got, say, 5 of these silver coins, and then it comes down here and now I'm just going to take one of those coins and I'm getting the same amount of Bitcoin back. Or maybe one and a half, or you have 4 and you get one of them type thing because maybe you didn't get the exact tops. But yeah, maybe you got 4 rolls of coins. Then you took a roll and got the exact same amount of Bitcoin back. And then if you did that, say, at a 3.25 ratio and it goes up to 8, you're like, well, geez, I could sell some. Or maybe I'll just wait to see if this thing go to 20, 40, or 50. And then good luck to you if that's, of course, one of your plays around the game. But those things, of course, is ideas in the situation in here for, of course, accumulating precious metals. But I do believe there's going to be times, which is why I talked about that millionaire and even like six-figure or nine-figure and billionaire people of what's going to be going on amongst their end. And I believe that the majority of the people who should easily be protecting their wealth, and it's funny because I see a commercial about, but that company trying to talk about how our company doesn't have the major trading fees that theirs does, and how they say about how, I mean, this is my family's future. This is not a game. Well, if that's the case, just by holding, if that's important, then you should be knowing what a fiat currency is because you should be researching it. But a lot of people who believe that way still don't. And the ideas just don't come to their head that anything like that could ever happen to them. And they've really never thought about that either. And more people are going to have to be forced into that situation if they already are not yet already into it. Alrighty, thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye bye.